update for today. Today you can still see the red on the map. Again, those are steep areas where the has cliffs, very rocky. It's hard to get crews into these areas. We've been monitoring with aircraft and getting crews in as close as we could to work those areas. And then we also flying our drones with the IR capability with that infrared, looking for any hot spots. We've been continuing to work down here in Altadena as well with focusing our areas around the structures and calls for service, and also assisting with the repopulation, having our resources around the incident as well. Again, the whole incident's being supported with air and ground resources. Currently, the USAR and SAR operations working with local law enforcement. They've been finding technical search areas and continuing that. Our infrastructure branch currently is assisting public works, clearing roadways for access points, and also cleaning out storm drains. We're planning and staffing for the expected weather pattern around the incident. We're staffing extra folks just to have that just in case the wind. We're continuing the damage inspections around the incident and the fire perimeter as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. Next up to talk about weather and fire behavior analyst Dennis Burns.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry to disappoint James's fan club, but he's out in the field today, so you're stuck with me doing the weather. So the red flag warning has been issued by Oxnard. We're on track to see those winds ramp up Monday afternoon through the evening, probably strongest overnight and into the early morning Tuesday hours. We're looking at sustained winds 20 to 30 with some potential gusts up to 50 miles an hour during that period. As James has mentioned, what's more of a concern to us, or as equal of a concern to us, is the extremely dry conditions. We're looking at RHs 6 to 8%. Just to reference that, I was looking at Tucson today, it's like 22%. So we're going to be desert dry here, and we're going to have winds on top of that. It looks like some sort of offshore wind pattern is going to continue through the rest of the week. The models really haven't necked down the wind speeds on that, but we are going to keep an offshore wind pattern. It could go fits and starts kind of like the last event. However, that will keep the dry conditions going through at least Friday. Speaking on the fire, no real big changes and not expecting the fire to leave its current footprint. We did get some infrared this morning. There's still continued heat in kind of all the usual places. For example, this little fingered here, just below Mount Wilson, it's on a very steep knob. The crews can't get in there. We have boxed it with retardant. We keep putting water on it. The hope is that most of the fuels in there are going to continue to burn away and basically burn themselves out. So we continually monitor that by air. Overnight we monitor it with the infrared. Some of the other spots in here, actually crews did find a way to get into here, so we may see some black here. But up in this area below Occidental Peak, we just can't get boots on the ground in that area. However, where we do have sources of heat, none looks to be a significant threat to our line, especially if we keep a north or an east wind. It's going to keep the fire from going out in any of these directions. Down in Altadena, we're still seeing isolated pockets of heat in that area, and that's going to continue either until they burn out or somebody stumbles upon one of those sources of heat so we can direct firefighters in to put that out.
Thank you. Next up, Air Resource Advisor Katie Sachery.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Sachery. I'm the Air Resource Advisor here for the Eaton Fire. As you can see today, we had a return to some pretty usual conditions that you guys might be used to being residents in LA County. We're back into a smog regime. You can see that it's pretty hazy outside, but the primary source of this haze isn't necessarily the smoke from the wildfires. You guys have 17 million people living in a basin. We have this dense, humid air mass that's kind of keeping all of these human-caused emissions stuck into our valley and low-lying regions. You can expect the same for that tomorrow. Whenever we get that Santa Ana wind event, you're going to expect some clearer conditions and a return to some good AQI values. We have also been receiving a lot of questions regarding when can I come back into my home? Is it safe to breathe the air that's in there? We actually have 2 incident management teams from the EPA that are deployed specifically to test for these hazardous air toxics that we are experiencing because of the certain structures that have been affected by this fire. If you want any more information regarding these recovery processes for repopulation, please visit recovery.lacounty.gov. They are going to give you all the information you need, all of the listservs you need to join in order to safely get back into your homes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie. Next up from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Captain Williams.
Good afternoon. I just want to speak more on as we reopen some of the areas. We still have people on scene, a lot of personnel, mainly at checkpoints. We're working very hard to make sure we allow the people that are supposed to be in and keep the people that are not supposed to be there out. So I just want to talk about an area that we're going to, that has been reopened as of 3 o'clock today. It's going to be south of Mendocino, north of Woodbury, east of Fair Oaks, and west of Lake. That area has just been opened as of 3 o'clock today. There is a small spot up above. It's going to be south of Harriet will be open. Above that Harriet Street to Mendocino, they're still working on some things there in that area, so that area is not open. So between Mendocino and Harriet, that small spot, so it's south of Harriet, north of Woodbury, east of Lincoln, west of Fair Oaks. That area is open, and it's going to be a soft closure. Again, I'll explain what soft closure is. Anyone going in that area has to show that they live in that area. They must have identification, whether it's driver's license, utility bill, vehicle registration. They have to show that they live in that area. It is technically still part of the evacuation ordered area, and it still will be under the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. The goal of the soft closure area is to have people go in, assess the area, some of their property, get some essentials and vital things that they need, and to leave the area. If they decide to stay in that area, if you decide to stay, we can't have the public walking around as though everything's back to normal. We still have a lot of emergency vehicles, utility vehicles in that area, and we don't want to get in their way. For people that are going back to those soft closure areas, just remember, we're not allowing very large vehicles like mobile homes and trailers and moving trucks at this time. Tomorrow, there's a hope that they'll open it up completely as a warning, but as of right now, it's still ordered. It's just a soft closure. You must show ID to get in those areas. A good website to check to see if it's warning or ordered is protect.genesis.com. I also want to mention one more thing. Just beware. Oh, before I mention that, I want to make sure people know that even though we're open in these areas and we're asking people to go in, get their vitals, and come out, the Sheriff's Department will still have roving patrols in that area to do looting suppression. We will be heavily in that area doing patrols all the way through the night. So I just want everybody to know that even though we are open in these areas, we will still be in that area doing patrols. And then last thing, just want to make sure everyone's aware of the different scams out there. The Sheriff's Department, we want to urge the public to stay vigilant during these times. There are a lot of people out there that are trying to take advantage of the situation. They're offering or trying to scam people as they offer to provide resources and things like that online. Please make sure you check and verify before you commit to something. There are a lot of people out there trying to take advantage, and we want to make sure that we keep you guys safe and keep your property safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up with Los Angeles County Public Works, Yona Halpern.
Good afternoon. Yona Halpern, Principal Engineer for LA County Public Works. We are committed to working with residents and all agencies involved to make the recovery process run as smoothly as possible. We are working tirelessly with local, state, and federal partners to ensure that areas affected by the Eaton fire are safe for residents to return. We're also working with local utilities to restore power, water, and sewer service, all of which have been damaged. We know those of you who are still evacuated are anxious to return to your homes and neighborhoods, and so here's what must happen before your community is ready for reopening. Fire hotspots must be fully extinguished. Urban search and rescue operations need to be completed. Roads must be cleared of hazards such as downed power lines, fallen trees, and broken glass. Streets and road infrastructure must be repaired and deemed safe for travel. Utilities, including water, electricity, gas, sewer systems, must all be inspected to ensure that they are safe. Additionally, homes and other structures must be evaluated for fire damage, structural weaknesses, and potential for collapse. All of these activities are currently ongoing, and we have hundreds of building official representatives deployed throughout the burn area. A red tagged building means the building is unsafe to occupy. Severe structural damage or other hazardous conditions make it dangerous for entry or use. A yellow tagged building is partially restricted for use. This means that some of the areas of the building are unsafe, but other parts may be safe for limited occupancy or specific uses subject to the reopening orders from the sheriff. There will be a written description of the damaged areas on the tag itself, and the damaged areas should not be entered. So far, county building and safety officials have placed 106 yellow tags, which again means partial or brief entry allowed, and 1,015 red tags, which means no entry allowed. The red and yellow tagged buildings have contact information for the San Gabriel Building and Safety Office. You may call that number if you have any questions or concerns about the tags. The phone number is 626-574-0941. Again, that's 626-574-0941. For the members of the public who are still evacuated, please know that there is a massive coordinated effort to return you back to your homes in a way that is safe for you and your loved ones to start the process of rebuilding. We ask for your patience as this critical and essential process is completed. Please check lacounty.gov/emergency for information on the timing of the reopening of your neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up with the FEMA update, Nicole Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nicole Wilson, FEMA Public Affairs Specialist. As I start every day with an update on how much money has gone out to survivors as of today, more than $27 million is in the hands of survivors. Jumping right into the points for today's briefing, if you rent a room where someone else has already applied for assistance. So if you're living in a home and someone has already applied for assistance in that home, but you rent there and you have a rental agreement or a lease agreement that can show that you actually pay rent in that location, then you may still be eligible for FEMA assistance. I know right now you're getting a bounce back on the application because it's saying someone has already applied there. In that situation, we want to make sure you get out either to one of the disaster recovery centers or pick up the phone and call us to let us know what your situation is and provide us with those rental or lease agreements. Also, we have received questions about whether FEMA can help cover medical equipment. The answer is yes. We can help cover replacement costs for things like breathing machines, motorized scooters, wheelchairs, walkers, feeding equipment, dental equipment, and more. If those are some of the items that you lost and you have not yet applied for FEMA assistance, please be sure that you do. And if you have not, if you have applied for FEMA assistance but have not indicated that you have those items and need to receive assistance, please make sure that you reach back out to us and let us know. Also, we're hearing that Metro is free right now. All rail lines and all bus routes are free. So, multiple resources are established across the city, across the county. Metro is free right now, all rail lines and all bus routes. I also want to remind people that we have 2 disaster recovery centers open in LA County. Survivors can visit one of the centers, either one of the centers, to receive assistance. There are federal, state, county, and local organizations housed at each recovery center. For example, the Social Security Administration is there to offer support to those who need to replace a Social Security card. Passport Services is there for those who need to replace passport. The state can provide resources to survivors. Eventually, survivors will be looking to repair or rebuild their home. They can provide information about contractors who are licensed in the state to make sure you're working with people who have credible backgrounds. And then also, the county is there right now. If a survivor is feeling overwhelmed and needs to speak to someone, they have the space where they can talk to you right now and help you work through some of those feelings that you're feeling. The disaster recovery centers are located at Pasadena City Community College Education Center, 3035 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena, and at the UCLA Research Park West, 10850 West Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Incident Commander Eleni Pappas and Kevin Boha.
Good evening. If you're notified that you can repopulate in an area that an evacuation order has been lifted, please be cautious. There's numerous known or unknown hazards in the area. Public Works posts specifically on the red or yellow tags. Make sure you heed what is stated on those tags. Some additional information. We'll go over damage inspection. One of the things is, to date, we're 95% complete on damage inspection. 16,856 structures have been inspected. And unfortunately, 1,044 have been damaged and 9,300 have been destroyed. I also wanted to reiterate the area that's the northern portion of the fire, north of the fire, is the Angeles National Forest, and that area is still in a forest closure until January 24th. Thank you and have a good evening.
That's going to end our presenters, but now we'll start our question and answers. I'm going to bring back up Captain Williams with the LA County Sheriff's Department.
There was a question about the soft closures, and we're allowing residents in only, and you have to show your ID, registration, something like that, showing that you live in that area. As of right now, we're only allowing residents into the area just to assess on their own and grab some things if they can, and to exit the area. We are not allowing people to make appointments for insurance assessors. We're asking, please don't bring friends or family or other people to help you clean up. At this time, it's not the time to do that. We're hoping within the next 24 hours there could be progress, and perhaps that will be allowed. But as of right now, please just only residents only, just to come and assess, grab their essentials that they need, and to get out of the area. It's still the evacuation ordered area, and it's just too dangerous to do some of the things that that people may want to do. So no insurance assessors, no people to come and help you clean up, things like that. Just the residents only. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up with FEMA, Nicole Wilson.
Hello. We have a question. Do we have to be in an evacuation zone to get FEMA help? Once again, if you had any loss as a result of the wildfires, if you were affected in any way, the best thing to do is come talk to one of our staff at the disaster recovery centers or give us a call at that 1-800-621-3362 number. Let us know your story. Let us know how you were impacted. Apply for FEMA assistance, and we will review your application and make determinations on how we may be able to assist you. Thanks.
Thank you. One of the additional questions we keep getting is about the post service and the mail, where we can go to get our mail. While we don't have a representative here to answer that directly, we were able to be advised that all U.S. mail is going to the Lincoln in Pasadena, and the address will be posted in our chat for that. That's going to conclude our question and answer for tonight. I'd like to indicate that tomorrow we will have our in-person meeting at the Westminster Presbyterian Church at 1757 North Lake Avenue at 4 p.m. That's going to be in person. We'll have a brief update of operations, and then we're going to go into a question and answer scenario where we will have representatives from all agencies involved. It will also be virtually on the YouTube channel for LA County Fire. Please submit all your questions that you would like to get answered, and we'll also have index cards for those attending to write questions on that we will be asking at that meeting. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.